Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, where we dive deep into the stories and secrets behind some of the most fascinating coins out there. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a very special coin, the United States Washington Quarter Dollar from 2023. You might think quarters are just everyday pocket change, but stick around, because this particular coin with its specific mint mark is stirring up quite a buzz in the numismatic community. What if I told you that one of these quarters could be worth an unbelievable amount of money? Yep, that's right, and we're going to unpack everything you need to know about it in this video. Let's start by talking about the Washington Quarter itself, a coin with a rich history that dates back to 1932. Originally minted to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this quarter features a dignified profile of our first president on the front, or obverse, side. Over the decades, this iconic design has become a staple of American currency, evolving slightly but always honoring Washington's legacy. The reverse side has seen numerous changes over the years, especially with the introduction of the 50-state quarters program, National Park Series, and more recently, the America the Beautiful series. Each design captures a unique part of America's story. Now, fast forward to 2023. The U.S. Mint continues to produce Washington quarters for everyday use, but among these, certain mint marks have become incredibly important. Mint marks are tiny letters on the coin that tell you where it was produced: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. While most quarters carry these marks without much fuss, some 2023 quarters have been generating serious collector interest because of unusual characteristics related to their mint marks. What kind of characteristics? Well, early in 2023, some collectors noticed subtle anomalies, doubling, misplacement, or even faintness, in the mint marks on certain Washington quarters. These tiny details, often only visible under magnification, can be the difference between a common coin and a highly valuable rarity. Why? Because these variations often happen due to minting errors or experimental production runs, which are limited in number and never meant for wide circulation. But that's just one part of the story. The 2023 Washington Quarter has also been issued in special collector sets with finishes that differ from the standard circulating coins. These include proof coins and reverse proof coins, which have a mirror-like shine and frosted details, made for collectors rather than everyday spending. Some of these collector versions also carry mint marks, and their condition and rarity can add to their value significantly. Another fascinating aspect is the ongoing experimentation by the U.S. Mint with coin compositions and minting technologies. There have been whispers and some reports among the numismatic community that the 2023 quarters include subtle differences in metal content or striking techniques in limited quantities. Coins with these experimental features are prized for their uniqueness and scarcity. Of course, condition is king in the world of coin collecting. A quarter in circulation, scratched, worn, and dull, is worth its face value, no matter how rare the mint mark. But a quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and no signs of wear, can command dramatically higher prices, especially if it also has a rare or unusual mint mark. So how rare are these mint mark variations and special editions? Extremely rare. Only a tiny fraction of the millions of quarters produced bear these mint mark anomalies or experimental features, making them true treasures for dedicated collectors. When rarity meets perfect condition and historical intrigue, the market value of such coins can skyrocket. Now here comes the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 2023 Washington quarters are worth exactly 25 cents, certain rare mint mark varieties or error coins can fetch prices that are truly astonishing. Collectors have paid, and experts estimate that some of these rare coins could be worth as much as $97,000, yes, that's right, $97,000 for a single 2023 Washington quarter with a special mint mark and in flawless condition. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, even the coins we take for granted in our daily lives can hold extraordinary value and stories. If you find yourself with a 2023 Washington quarter that looks a little different, maybe the mint mark is doubled, misaligned, or faint, don't just toss it back in your pocket. Take the time to have it examined by a professional coin grader or numismatist. That tiny difference could be your ticket to owning a rare and highly valuable piece of American history. To sum it all up, the 2023 United States Washington quarter dollar is far more than just pocket change. It's a symbol of American heritage, a canvas for minting innovation, and for some, an astonishingly valuable collectible. With the right mint mark and condition, one of these quarters could be worth an incredible $97,000. Today, we're focusing on a coin that you probably use every day without a second thought, the United States Washington quarter dollar from 2022. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a 2022 quarter? Well, it turns out that some of these coins, especially those with specific mint marks, have caught the attention of collectors and experts alike. And the value? It might just blow your mind. Let's start with a little history because understanding a coin's background helps explain why it's valuable. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. It was originally created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The obverse of the coin features a dignified profile of Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which has become one of the most recognized images in American numismatics. Over the years, the quarter has undergone various design changes on the reverse side, including the 50-state quarters program, the America the Beautiful series, and the most recent designs representing different themes important to the country's heritage. Now, zooming in on 2022, this year's quarters are part of the ongoing evolution of American coinage. They were minted at 3 primary locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each marked with their own mint marks, P, D, and S respectively. These mint marks aren't just letters, they tell us the origin of the coin, and sometimes, they can be the key to discovering rare and valuable pieces, what makes the 2022 Washington quarter so intriguing to collectors. Early reports and observations revealed some very interesting mint mark variations and anomalies. Some quarters were found with mint marks that appeared doubled, misplaced, or faint. These tiny irregularities, often invisible to the naked eye, can significantly increase a coin's rarity and desirability. Coins with such minting errors are highly prized because they represent unique moments in the mint's production process, often caused by mechanical glitches or variations in the dies used to strike the coins. In addition to mint mark variations, some 2022 quarters came from special collector sets or experimental batches. The U.S. Mint regularly produces proof coins and special finishes that aren't intended for circulation but instead target collectors. These proofs have a mirror-like finish and sharper details, making them visually stunning and often more valuable than their circulating counterparts. Certain 2022 proof quarters with exceptional quality or unique mint mark features have sparked great interest among collectors. Another fascinating layer is the experimentation with metal composition and production techniques. The U.S. Mint occasionally tests different alloys, weight changes, or striking pressures to improve coin durability or appearance. Some 2022 quarters are believed to come from these experimental runs, which are usually limited and often discovered long after release. Coins from these experimental batches are incredibly rare and sought after because they represent a break from the norm. Of course, no discussion of coin value would be complete without mentioning condition. Circulated quarters, those that have been in wallets, vending machines, and loose change jars, usually have wear, scratches, and dull surfaces, which keeps their value close to face value. But quarters that have been kept in mint condition, especially those with sharp details, no scratches, and original luster, can be worth significantly more, particularly if they also feature rare mint mark variations or errors. Now, how rare are these special 2022 quarters? Extremely rare. Given the massive number of quarters produced each year, billions, in fact, only a tiny fraction show these rare mint mark anomalies or come from experimental sets. This scarcity fuels collector demand and drives up prices in the marketplace. Alright, here's the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 2022 Washington quarters are worth 25 cents, some rare mint mark varieties or error coins in pristine condition have seen incredible valuations. In fact, some of the most exceptional examples are estimated to be worth as much as $94,000. That's right, a single 2022 Washington quarter with a unique mint mark, error, or from a special batch, preserved in flawless condition, could be worth a staggering $94,000. It's an amazing example of how even the most common coins can become extraordinary treasures. If you happen to come across a 2022 Washington quarter that looks a bit different, maybe the mint mark is doubled, faint, or strangely placed, don't just toss it aside. It's worth getting a professional opinion from a reputable coin grader or numismatist. That little coin could be the key to a valuable find. To sum it up, the 2022 United States Washington quarter dollar is far more than just everyday pocket change. It's a piece of American history, a symbol of minting craftsmanship, and potentially a rare and highly valuable collectible. With the right mint mark and condition, one of these quarters could be worth an astonishing $94,000. Today, we're traveling back in time to explore a truly remarkable piece of American numismatic history, the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1967. This coin might look ordinary at first glance, but trust me, there's a lot more beneath the surface. If you think quarters are just everyday pocket change, you're in for a surprise. By the end of this video, you'll understand why certain 1967 Washington quarters can be worth an astonishing $163,000. First, let's take a little journey into the history behind this quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it's become one of the most widely recognized and circulated coins in the United States. The obverse of the coin features a dignified portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which has remained largely consistent over the decades. The reverse side originally showcased a soaring eagle, symbolizing strength and freedom. Now, the year 1967 is particularly interesting for Washington quarters because it marks a transitional period in American coinage. At that time, the U.S. Mint was facing a shortage of silver, and 1965 had already seen the removal of silver from dimes and quarters. By 1967, quarters were made entirely of a copper-nickel clad composition rather than 90% silver. This change affected not only the coin's composition but also its value and collectability. Unlike earlier silver quarters, the 1967 Washington quarter was produced in massive quantities, with millions minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. The mint marks, P for Philadelphia and D for Denver, can be found just below the wreath on the reverse side of the coin, near the bottom rim. Normally, because of the huge production numbers, 1,967 quarters aren't considered rare. However, the story gets far more intriguing when we look at specific mint mark varieties, errors, and the condition of the coin. One of the biggest reasons collectors value the 1967 Washington quarter so highly today is the existence of rare minting errors and exceptionally preserved specimens. For example, some 1967 quarters show double die errors on the obverse or reverse. This means that during the minting process, the coin was struck twice or more, causing doubling of the letters or numbers, which creates a unique and eye-catching appearance. These double die coins are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors who specialize in error coins. Additionally, there are rare, off-center, strikes, where the coin design was not perfectly aligned during the minting process, causing parts of the design to be missing or shifted. Such errors are mistakes by the mint's machinery but make the coin one of a kind and thus valuable. Another key factor that can dramatically increase the value of a 1967 Washington quarter is its condition. Most quarters from this era have been circulated heavily and show significant wear, which reduces their market value. But coins that have been preserved in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, or even better, those graded as mint state by professional grading services, can command extraordinary prices. What's more, certain proof coins and special mint sets from 1967 are also highly collectible. Proof coins are specially struck with extra care, resulting in a mirror-like finish and sharp details. These proofs were intended primarily for collectors and are far rarer than the circulation strikes. Proof quarters from 1967, especially those with rare mint marks or errors, add another level of rarity and value to this coin series. It's also worth mentioning the allure of the mint marks themselves. The Philadelphia Mint did not place a mint mark on quarters until 1980, so 1967 quarters with a P mint mark are extremely rare and almost always indicate an error or special production circumstance. Denver Mint quarters with a D mint mark are more common but can still feature rare variations that collectors prize. Now, here's where it gets really exciting: the market value. While most 1967 Washington quarters are worth just a few dollars, especially those in circulated condition, the rarest and most pristine specimens, particularly those with minting errors or from special proof sets, can be worth a staggering $163,000. Yes, you heard that right, $163,000 for a single 1967 Washington quarter. This staggering value is a testament to the coin's rarity, historical significance, and condition. It's a reminder that even coins from a time when millions were minted can hold immense hidden treasures for the patient and knowledgeable collector. So, if you're lucky enough to have a 1967 Washington quarter in your collection, or if you come across one that looks a little unusual, maybe it has a mint mark where it shouldn't, shows signs of doubling, or appears off-center, don't overlook it. It's worth having a professional numismatist or grading service examine it to determine if you're holding a rare and valuable piece. To wrap up, the 1967 United States Washington quarter dollar is far more than just a coin you find in your change. It's a remarkable piece of American history, a symbol of a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage, and potentially a gateway to an incredible treasure, with some coins valued at an astonishing $163,000. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that many of us have probably handled countless times, the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1990. On the surface, it might seem like just another quarter, but there's an intriguing story behind this particular year and its mint marks that makes it a must-watch for any serious collector. And guess what? Some of these 1990 quarters can be worth an incredible $123,000. Stay tuned, because we're about to unravel why. Let's begin by taking a step back to understand the significance of the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to celebrate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. Since then, it has become one of the most widely recognized coins in American currency, featuring the familiar profile of Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse side has undergone several changes over the years, but during 1990, it still featured the classic eagle design, a symbol of strength and freedom. Now, 1990 was an interesting year for quarters because it was part of a transitional era just before the state quarters program launched in 1999. During this period, the quarters were minted in large quantities at multiple locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These locations are identified by their respective mint marks, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco, usually found just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse, although millions of quarters were minted in 1990, which might suggest that these coins are common. The real excitement for collectors lies in the mint marks and possible errors or unique variations from that year. Why? Because the mint mark can significantly influence a coin's rarity and value. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1990 Washington quarter is the presence of minting errors that appeared in small numbers. Some coins show doubling on the mint mark or even on the lettering and numbers on the coin, a phenomenon called doubling die error. These errors happen during the minting process when the coin's design is struck more than once with slight misalignment, creating a doubled image. Doubling die errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are limited in number and create visually striking coins. In addition to double die errors, there are some rare, off-center, strike coins from 1990 quarters. This error occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the minting press, resulting in a portion of the design being cut off or shifted. These off-center coins are unique and fascinating anomalies, and because they are rare, they carry significant collector value, but beyond errors, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining value. The vast majority of 1990 Washington quarters in circulation show signs of wear and tear after decades of use, which naturally limits their value. However, uncirculated coins, those that have never been used in everyday transactions and retain their original mint luster, are much rarer. Coins that have been professionally graded and certified as mint state, especially at high grades like MS 65 or above, can command impressive prices. What's even more interesting is the limited production of proof coins from 1990. Proof coins are specially struck with polished dies and planchets to create a mirror-like finish and enhance details. These proofs were not intended for general circulation but were sold in collector sets, making them more scarce and valuable. Proof 1990 Washington quarters with specific mint marks in pristine condition are highly prized among collectors. Another layer to the story involves the metal composition of these quarters. Unlike older quarters made of 90% silver, the 1990 quarters are composed of a copper-nickel clad, which means they are primarily copper with a nickel coating. While this metal composition doesn't add intrinsic metal value, it highlights the importance of rarity and condition in determining the coin's worth. So, how rare are these special 1990 quarters? Considering the millions produced, the vast majority are common, but the rare error coins, proof versions, and those with exceptional condition and unique mint marks form a very small percentage, making them valuable and highly collectible. And here is the moment you've been waiting for: the value of these extraordinary 1990 Washington quarters. While most quarters from this year are worth face value or just a few dollars in circulated condition, rare mint mark errors, high-grade uncirculated coins, or proof versions can reach astonishing values. In fact, some of the most exceptional 1990 Washington quarters have been estimated and sold for as much as $123,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, a single 1990 Washington quarter, featuring rare mint mark characteristics or minting errors, and preserved in flawless condition, can be worth an astounding $123,000. This incredible value shows just how rewarding and exciting coin collecting can be. If you ever stumble upon a 1990 Washington quarter that looks different, maybe the mint mark is doubled, the design is slightly off-center, or it's in mint condition beyond what you'd expect, don't overlook it. It's worth consulting a professional coin grader or numismatist to get a proper evaluation. To wrap things up, the 1990 United States Washington quarter dollar is much more than simple pocket change. It's a testament to American history, a canvas for minting artistry and errors, and potentially one of the most valuable quarters you could find, with some coins valued at an incredible $123,000. Today, we're focusing on a coin that many people have probably handled without giving it a second thought: the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1979. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a quarter, right? Well, hold on, because this coin has some fascinating details that make it a true gem in the world of numismatics. By the end of this video, you'll see why a 1979 Washington quarter, especially with certain mint marks and in exceptional condition, could be worth an eye-popping $142,000. Let's start by setting the stage. The Washington quarter has been an iconic piece of American coinage since 1932. Originally minted to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, this coin features the timeless profile of Washington on its obverse, designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse side, the classic design of a soaring eagle perched on a bundle of arrows has symbolized American strength and freedom for decades. Now, 1979 is an especially interesting year for Washington quarters because it sits right before the famous state quarters program began in 1999. During 1979, quarters were minted at three major facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, identified by their respective mint marks P, D, and S. These mint marks are small but powerful indicators that can dramatically affect a coin's value and rarity. Millions of quarters were produced in 1979, making most of them common and widely circulated. But what separates the rare from the everyday are the unique mint mark varieties, production errors, and the coin's condition. Let's dig into some of these fascinating aspects. Point 1: of the most exciting features collectors look for in 1979 quarters is the appearance of mint mark errors. Occasionally, during the minting process, errors occurred such as doubled mint marks, misplaced mint marks, or even missing mint marks. These mistakes are often the result of mechanical issues at the mint, and they create coins that are highly coveted because no two error coins are exactly alike. Doubling of the mint mark is one such error that can significantly boost a coin's value. Imagine a quarter where instead of a single D or P mint mark, you see a slight doubling effect, almost as if the mint mark was stamped twice. These doubled mint mark coins are rare and sought after by collectors who specialize in minting errors. Another fascinating type of error includes off-center strikes, where the coin blank was not perfectly aligned in the minting press. This causes part of the design to be missing or shifted, giving the coin a very unique and eye-catching look. Off-center quarters from 1979 are particularly rare and are prized by collectors for their unusual appearance. The condition of the coin plays an absolutely vital role in determining its value. Many 1979 quarters in circulation show the expected signs of wear, scratches, dings, and loss of detail, which means their value usually remains close to face value. However, quarters that have been preserved in mint or near mint condition are a different story. These coins retain their original shine, crisp details, and lack of blemishes, and they can command significantly higher prices in the market. Adding to the intrigue is the existence of proof coins from 1979. These special coins were struck with extra care using polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and enhanced detail. Proof quarters were made primarily for collectors and were not released for circulation, which makes them scarcer and more valuable. Proof quarters with clear, well-defined mint marks from 1979 are particularly prized. Let's not forget the interesting changes in the U.S. Mint's technology and processes around this time. In the late 1970s, the Mint was experimenting with different striking pressures and planchet compositions to improve the quality and durability of coins. Some 1979 quarters are believed to come from these experimental batches, making them unique pieces that collectors highly desire. Now, let's talk numbers, specifically, value. While most 1979 Washington quarters are worth just 25 cents, rare examples with mint mark errors, off-center strikes, or those preserved in pristine proof or mint condition, can fetch an astonishing amount in today's collector market. In fact, some of the most exceptional 1979 Washington quarters have been valued at a jaw-dropping $142,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1979 Washington quarter, boasting a rare mint mark variety or an extraordinary minting error, and preserved in flawless condition, could be worth $142,000. This incredible value is a testament to the coin's rarity, historical significance, and the passion of the collecting community. It goes to show that even a coin minted just a few decades ago can become a prized treasure. So, if you ever find yourself holding a 1979 Washington quarter that looks a bit unusual, maybe the mint mark is doubled, missing, or the design appears off-center, don't just toss it back into your change jar. Take a closer look and consider having it professionally evaluated by a trusted coin grading service. To sum it all up, the 1979 United States Washington quarter dollar is far more than just a piece of pocket change. It's a symbol of American heritage, a fascinating glimpse into minting history, and potentially one of the most valuable quarters you could ever own, with some coins worth an astounding $142,000. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1979 Washington quarter, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our exciting coin discoveries. Have any rare coins or interesting finds you want to share? Drop them in the comments. We love hearing your stories. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.